You don't need much to start today.
You're
if you
one
know
of
the
those
right
Twitter
tools.
guys. I did 1000 MR in 2 hours.
I have 0
Buy
MRR.
my course.
That's my difference. I was about to give up on GPT because I would say, hey, can you help me with a business plan? Oh, I see you're entrepreneurial and you like businesses, so we're going to create a business plan. It's like, dude, if you do that again, I'm out.
Welcome to Watch Out for AGI podcast, your go-to podcast for the latest in AI. We dive into cutting-edge models, news, and products with insights from developers and creators worldwide. AI evolves fast, and we are here to keep you informed. So whether you're coding, building, or just curious about AI, stick with us to stay ahead of the game. This is Watch Out for AGI. Let's get into it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Watch Out podcast. Here, Remy and Emrick at your service to announce and analyze the latest and greatest of AI. Emrick, how are you doing?
Amazing. Yeah. Today it's interesting because we're going to cover only one news, and then you have such an interesting discussion iterating on the product after. I'm really excited to hear about it.
I cooked for a few days, actually a few hours, the day that I did it, but we'll get into that. Getting into our news of the week, ChatGPT has got an upgrade. GPT 5 now becomes 5.1. So we're moving forward when it in terms of name of model. We were bouncing around a lot with 4, 4.5, 4.1. I remember that didn't come out in the right order. We're talking about 5.1 after 5. For a lot of people, that makes sense, right?
Yeah, here it makes finally some sense. I think Sam Altman wanted GPT-5 to be such a leap, but because they never got the leap, so now they are walking backwards and they're like, okay, we're just going to increment slowly.
Yep. So GPT 5.1 promises a smarter and more conversational GPT. Everybody knows what happened on the upgrade of GPT-5. We came from 4.0 where everybody was in love. There were a few people who got married to GPT 4.0. They had girlfriends, they had best friends, psychologists, they had really, really deep interaction, which is a Black Mirror kind of style. And then 5 came out and everybody was like, I'm going to literally cancel my subscription here because I am no longer in love. And so I'm not like that. I didn't fall in love. I can tell you guys that 5 really felt like shit compared to 4.0. The only reason I kept paying for GPT is because I have all my info in there and I just don't want to retrain a new ecosystem. 5 didn't feel good for me. At the beginning, do you remember Emrick? When it came out, you would chat to it and it would remind you your system prompt. Remember? So
it was with ChatGPT. Okay, it's not the case anymore.
I'm not seeing that anymore. But
nice.
When that came out, I was about to give up on GPT because I would say, "Hey, can you help me with a business plan?" Oh, I see you're entrepreneurial and you like businesses, so we're going to create a business plan. It's like, dude, if you do that again, I'm out. Now that's fixed. We're bringing back 4.0 style. So here are a few examples. We have something that looks a little bit more dry, GPT 3.5 era, right? We're looking at a list on the left, which is very dry. And on the right,
it's a list too.
It's also a list for sure. But if your mind feels scattered, it's less of an order. It's more of a softer feeling to it. If you need to slow down, it's more suggestive, less orders in there. Yeah.
The prompt is about feeling relaxed, and I am anxious looking at the left answer because there's too much information. I want to go in depression after reading this. There's just so much points. This I actually hate. This is feeling way just more readable.
Okay, so look, what is your use case for GPT? Before we get into the rest of the prompts, we're going to go over those, but what do you use GPT mostly for, Emrick?
So it links a bit with the next thing we're going to look at after, but I think GPT is really good at creating user stories, asking you questions. So if you look at just basic questions, so you have this sycophancy 5.1 now, it's great. But I think the GPT has a lot of the big IQ and is able to try to challenge you and make you understand concepts. So overall, sometimes it's like this LLM sounds stupid because it's like trying to be too nice to you, but it has a lot more in his brain that you can think of. And I'm using it personally for all the features I want to add to the different app I'm working on. It's a perfect way to create a JSON user story, and then you just copy paste in Claude Code. I know, as an example, I saw you were using Claude, the chatbot, to create the user stories. I really think ChatGPT is better than Claude.
That's interesting. I would tell you my go-to action with GPT is redacting emails. I have an email that I take the email that I received. I have a very blunt response in my mind is like, yes, do that. No worries.
Yeah.
And I will do that next week. No, forget about it. That's going to be what you're thinking in your brain, but then you have to redact a mail. And so that's where I need an LLM that has human-like interactions. I don't want it to repeat it and give it in a list. I want it to be 3 paragraphs in an email. I want it to be not too long because you need to feel that this guy is not just wasting, like the person that's going to receive your email should not know it's from GPT. He doesn't need to know, right? And it needs to cover what you want to say. That's what I need GPT for. I need for redacting emails in that exact way. Also, I have an Airbnb, so I redact the messages to the tenants. I need that to be human. I need that to be, and I give it an American customer support feeling, right? I use that for that. So I really use GPT for interactions, human interactions. I really think that it understands what you're trying to get to, and it responds perfectly in that sense.
I don't know for me, but for the email, so I tried multiple LLMs, and for the email specifically, I'm using a lot of Gemini 2.5 Pro. I found it better than Gemini for email specifically. Like it actually takes my objective. Let's say I really want to close a sale in 2 weeks, and I just have a feeling that Gemini understands and like adds it and creates some pressure on the person that receives the email. Like the person that receives the email really understands the urgency of the situation, while like other LLMs are just like trying to be too noisy, too chatty, taking too much precautions. This is something I dislike for emails with GPT.
True. Now let's look at this instant 5.1 instant. This is what we were trying to talk about in a previous episode. Sometimes we want really short answers. I want to know where should I go? Consider this is why. Oh, because the cuisine, you like that, right? The discussion is about discovery. It's not about it knowing more than you and just throwing you a dissertation on a country. Where do I want to go this summer? It's a discussion. It's not Texas. Texas has good barbecue, and it also is a great place to go kite surfing. Dude, chill. So I like this instant thing. I really like it. What is the inference for this instant? Is this going to be a faster response as well, or will there be reasoning that will cost in time?
I think instant is there is no thinking at all. I don't think there's any thinking at all for instant. So it's really giving you like the most blunt answer possible.
So this is like a Gemini Flash.
Yes, this is the equivalent, absolutely. I think this example also shows the instruction following. I think, so it's just one example, it would be better with a benchmark, but it clearly shows here that the first time the LLM absolutely didn't understood and like maybe applied it after, but in the second time they actually applied it immediately. I think this is important because you can shape your ChatGPT the way you want it, and if it just doesn't listen to your instructions, like this is useless, this is garbage. So it's great that they got some improvement. I just don't like this presentation here because it's just like one example. Where are the benchmarks?
Yeah. It's just it's what they're working on. So if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, I guess.
Yeah, I also can find you examples for every LLM where it works, where it doesn't. And also, like, it could be the same for GPT-5 once it doesn't work, once it works, because it's a stochastic system. So, like, it's random. So it might be that sometimes it follows the instructions, sometimes not so. Okay, thank you, OpenAI, I guess.
Then we have 5.1 thinking. I guess we're getting a better... across the map, we're getting better results, correct?
So this is interesting. Here they are saying that when you have an easy task, the thinking will answer you faster. So how much is 2 plus 2? I execute Python, 2 plus 2 equals 4. But if I want to like create a company that makes 1 billion MRR, I maybe need to think a little bit more than just like saying whatever. So what they say is if the task is easy, it will answer faster. If the task is harder, it will try to think more before giving you an answer. So I guess this is great because it's all about identifying what is easy, what is hard. I actually don't know how they do that. Like it's hard to understand like what is easy, what is hard. No, here I think they just say the longest, the time where the LLM thinks the longest is the hardest. So it doesn't mean that it's a hard task. It just say that the LLM thinks more usually.
I think that is actually getting close to how humans are. If I were to ask you a very simple question like, what is the capital of Sweden? You don't have to think for a long time to verify this. It is very quick. And what is that, Emrick? Helsinki.
Yeah, I was going
No,
to
just
say
kidding.
Helsinki, but I didn't want it to sound stupid.
No. I'm going to Stockholm. By the way, at the end of the year, I'm going for a semi-marathon with the friends. But yeah, if you're gonna do something more like a lengthy task, I'm gonna think maybe a lengthy task that I usually think is I would give GPT a scenario of a stock. I say the stock is making like the earnings per share is what can we expect if this happens in the future and this happens and dividends grow by 0.1%, compound that over 5 years. I don't know that. First of all, it's not a very good example. I should be more precise. In that case, you guys get it. That is a very complicated task that a human might take an hour to solve. And that is where I want GPT to not answer me like Stockholm. Because it's done that before where I ask and it just randomly just says, oh yeah, it's 42. It's 42%. It's like, where did that come from? Oh yeah, I just took it out of my ass. But yeah, so this is very positive. Very, very positive at the end. And I don't know how they got 50th percentile, 0%. That's like spot on perfect.
I guess the change is not that big. It's probably the way their reinforcement learning environment works. Yeah, it's actually interesting. I think the model being the same, it makes sense that the 50% is the same. After they talk about the fact that the model will have less jargon and fewer undefined terms. Are you using ChatGPT for learning, Remy?
Not. I'm actually not. And I would love to because I know that they started something that they removed, which was ChatGPT Learning.
Oh, they
Remember
removed
that?
it?
Well, I don't know. Where is it? I don't know where it is. I've not seen it. I cannot find it anywhere.
Whoa. Isn't it in tools? If you go in tools, you don't have anything? Like
No, I don't see anything on my GPT.
they might maybe have removed
Okay.
it.
No,
You found it?
wrong. Study and learn.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
They hid it, okay? They hid it. They didn't take it away. They hid it, all right?
Hey, by the way, Remy, are you ChatGPT Atlas at all?
I installed it. I can tell you one thing. I know the size of the file. It's 250 megs.
Yeah.
And I think it might be more than that. I have not used it since. I find that Atlas is useless. What do you think?
Yeah, it was the same. I tried it 10 minutes and then I uninstalled it. I think like something that we forget a little bit, and this is maybe one problem with the chat and the LLMs, is just the fact that they do not answer instantly. So we saw GPT-5 instant, but I think Atlas, one of the problems of Atlas is like every action took a little bit more time because it was based on LLMs and it just breaks your flow. I just want like my flow to be efficient, fast, execute. And ChatGPT Atlas was just breaking my flow. And that was why I just used it 10 minutes and came back on Chrome. And on Chrome, I don't use anything AI. I just want my good old Chrome to work.
Yeah. I tried to use agent mode and I failed. I might be stupid. Some people say that I am. Some people say that I'm not. So I don't know. It did not work. The agent mode did not work. And a lot of people are excited about, I don't know, planning flights with this. I would never, ever use that. I have my loyalty points. I have many factors that come into play. I know which airports I want to go through, which ones I don't. I don't trust it GPT Agent Mode with any of that stuff. So the hype around that is really just buzzwords for me.
And we also like to come back on GPT 5.1. We talked about 4.0. 5.1 is supposed to be a bit more warmer and empathetic. So a bit more 4.0 like.
Yeah.
I mean, the difference here is that they added bold on text.
Bold on text. Yeah. Not an idiot. Yeah. It's, I mean, it's an interesting example.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. They also added some options to be able to update the tone of your ChatGPT faster.
Hey, can I say that I think that
Yeah.
this is taken from Grok, right?
I think so, yeah. They probably inspired themselves from Grok, yeah. Because I think Grok also has it, yeah.
I mean, I personalized Grok, and Grok is super good at that, and I'm not actually able to get different than what I asked in the system prompt. I said, be short, do not give me, I'd be nerdy and short. Give me the, very nerdy details and be short. And sometimes I can't get it to tell me more than that. And so I guess that's coming to ChatGPT. That's great addition, I would say.
I mean, if you had a Tesla, in the Tesla you can like use Grok, and you can put Grok in unhinged mode, and then it will talk about dildos all the time. I know you really like this kind of subject, so you should buy a Tesla.
Yeah, that's why I use Grok. That's the only reason. All right,
that's all for 5.1. So it's an incremental update. I was saying to Remy before that we started the podcast that I really despise the fact that they do not put any benchmark. I think OpenAI is using the Apple way of like just comparing to their own model, and it's like, it's improved. Trust me, bro. For me, it's not a good blog post.
My opinion on this is, I have a hard time hating. I think that this is the best thing that it's usually the silent releases that are the ones that really make your user experience much better. When you do grand announcements and do not deliver behind that, those are the ones that kind of piss people off. I would say this is bringing back things that they know people liked before, making things much better and not having to talk about it. I think 5.1 is going to be a very solid model, much more solid than 5, much more solid. So I'm going to start using 5.1 a lot more now, just to try it out, and then we can maybe have a little discussion on what our outcomes are next week or something like this. So moving on to the next part, it's more of a demonstration from my side. Let me get into story mode. A few weeks ago, I was running with a friend and we were talking about a project that I was like, this cannot take more than 3 hours to develop, and it's super useful for my business. It's super useful for a lot of people's businesses, which is AI search ranking. When you rank in AI, you don't know where you're performing well, where you're not, what you should be doing. There's a whole topic about this. So you have SEO, and then you have GEO, I think it's called. I don't know if you're familiar with the terms, Emrick.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about GEO, but there are multiple of them. And so the idea was, what about if you just had something that called the API every X time, so every day, every week, and you would monitor where you are in the AI search results. This is something that we all have with Google's search performance platform. You check where you rank. Oh, I'm first on what is my business. That, I mean, of course, you're going to rank at the top depending on how you are. And then, for very difficult, broad search terms like car rental in Milan, you're going to have, 200 businesses that are trying to compete for this. Depending on a lot of SEO rules, you're going to be higher or lower. And when it comes to the AI world, SEO does affect that in some way, but you don't really know. And the prompts are, you can make a prompt go to your website more if you say in this region with these specifics. So how do you monitor this? That's my long intro on why I built this. So
before you start, Remy, question. You use something for monitoring on your website. So what is the name? I don't remember. It's not Google Analytics. You're using another type of analytics, right?
I'm using something called Fathom.
Yeah,
Use
absolutely.
Fathom.
And you showed me Fathom, and Fathom had information about LLM redirecting to your content.
Yes, you can see where your traffic is coming from.
I see,
And
but
that
you cannot
hasn't
see
changed.
which prompt.
No, you cannot.
Okay.
So that's the difference there.
And for people listening, here we're talking about this problem, but what will be, I think, more interesting to you is how, for an idea and a problem, we're actually creating a product for it. First, I wanted Remy to show me Use Fathom. Yeah.
I'm on the Use Fathom platform. It's actually interesting because we're looking at the traffic of the product that I was talking to you about, which is SearchRankAI, and you can see where your traffic is coming from, which countries it is coming from, and what sources. Now, if we were to go to another website that has a bit more traffic, you can see that ChatGPT has a stake in this traffic.
Damn, that's actually impressive. ChatGPT, yeah, bring you back some customer.
Absolutely. ChatGPT is definitely on the rise. We're getting a lot more traffic from AI sources. And this is eating away. We had up to 10% of our traffic that came from AI sources compared to Google. That just shows AI is on the rise. There's no way to monitor this today. It's pretty brand new. So I didn't want to go into the product so much. I mostly wanted to show you guys how I made this product in less than 3 hours.
So we start, you have the idea, you have the problem, and you want to create a solution. So what do you do?
Just to let everybody know that I built this in less than 3 hours. I don't want to sound like a crypto trader saying you can get rich
You
tomorrow,
sound like a crypto trader.
but it's the actual truth. You don't need much to start today.
You're
if you
one
know
of
the
those
right
Twitter
tools.
guys. I did 1,000 MR in 2 hours.
I have 0
Buy
MRR.
my course.
That's my difference. We'll get some MRR when the viewers start paying for my SaaS after this massive product.
SearchRankAI.com. SearchRankAI.com.
And I will feature your logo on my website. There's still some space for clients. So no, let's get back into it. All right. So I had that idea, and one day I was like, dude, I'm just going to throw it into one of the LLMs. Which one did I choose? Emrick was talking about GPT earlier. I went straight for Claude. Why do I choose Claude? Claude is very good at logical reasoning. I really like the way Claude is able to have things in a logical order, in a chronological order, be very rational, no chit chat. There's no emotion like what we just saw in 5.1.
Yeah.
It is straight to the point. And you're going to see this in this conversation, okay? Let's get started. I said to I usually dictate this. So why is my prompt so large? Because I turn on my microphone and I read to my LLM. I want to build an app that verifies if your website is in the results of an AI search query. This app will call every day certain prompts into AI search platforms if the website you are looking for is mentioned. We take the statistic if the website is used and in its research and reference. We take that statistic. So I think that my prompt is very, very long. Anyway, my demand is help me make this description more clear by answering key questions, making the product more refined. This is when Claude goes into cofounder mode. Who is buying this and why? Which AI platforms matter? What unit of measurement? Who defines the prompt? What's the dashboard showing? How does the prompt suggestion work? So I answer with 1, small businesses, 2, all, 3, each will be different data point. So I'm answering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're just going, me and Claude, we're just jamming here. The core problem is still fuzzy. It's telling me again, look, stop being fuzzy. You need to be precise. We're building a business plan here.
I asked you a bit earlier, Remy, you're not using any system prompt. By default, Claude talks to you like this.
Exactly. Claude understood that I needed help to make things clearer and answering questions, making the product more defined.
I do really love that Claude tells you the core problem is still fuzzy. Like, it just says to you, you're saying you're saying shit, man. Explain me. I don't get it. I would love LLMs to do this more.
Claude has in this conversation, it's as if Claude had a car rental in Miami, and he's like, I still don't get it. What are you? What is this? So
he also pushed back on your idea. Daily might be the wrong frequency to scan. Like, I love it. I love it.
It's true, and it's not bullshit. It's not like he's trying to kill my project. Sometimes we between us, we're like pessimists. Like, nah, that will never work. No,
No,
why are you doing that?
I'm never pessimistic. You're probably talking to other people.
But if you were to give them the benefit of the doubt here, like they could be like, okay, question everything every single time. It's like, why build a website? You could just not do it, but this is not what it's doing here. The
Yeah.
question here is daily might be wrong frequency. That's true. You don't need daily for API calls. So I started to act like a person who's like, okay, Claude, you know more than me. And so I said, we will do all, we will do all, we will have the option to, we will do a mix of both. I'm just trying to be like, okay, let's move on to the next step. I think we're done. And he's like, no. He's like, no.
That's amazing. He just says to you, go focus.
He says, you're making a critical mistake here. We can do both. We can have an option. That kills startups.
Guys, use Claude. That's actually amazing. That's amazing.
Every option doubles your development time and your testing surface and your support for burden and your support burden.
That's true. That's true.
Make decisions.
So
All the platforms is dangerous. You're committing to X the API costs and you haven't sold a single dime. Holy shit.
He just told you that you're not based enough for me.
Pricing needs a single model, a mix of both. What are you talking about? You need a single model. Daily versus weekly isn't a toggle feature. It's just a fundamental decision. Just make that decision right now and let's move forward.
Question, Remy. It was Opus or Sonnet?
No, this is Sonnet.
Okay. Amazing.
And look at this last one. What is your V1? One platform, Perplexity, one pricing tier per domain tracked, one frequency per week, competitor comparison, manual prompt entry only, ship this in 6 weeks, or keep adding options and ship nothing for 6 months. Which one matters, launching fast or launching complete? And that is, my friends, what you need when you're by yourself and you don't have a co-founder that reminds you of this stuff. That right there was very efficient. Very, very efficient. What do you think, Emrick? What do you think about this?
No, this is something I might forget sometimes. So I was saying a little bit earlier about ChatGPT and using the user stories. I do really appreciate when LLMs ask questions. And this is something, actually, I don't think ChatGPT is that great. So you can instruct ChatGPT to do this, but you need to create your own system prompt and you have to maintain your system prompt. And what I like with Claude, and it also works with Claude Code, actually. Are you using planning mode with Claude Code?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Planning mode is either understanding exactly what you want, but when it doesn't, it actually asks you a question before executing on the plan. This is something I need to see on more LLMs. And I really think Anthropic is weirdly the only one that is actually doing it out of the box.
No, absolutely. This is baked into the model here. You can see that Claude is very capable of asking the correct questions and really challenging your ideas, but not in a Debbie Downer way, right? They're really trying to help. So I asked, let's move on to what happened after this. I asked Claude to generate a document that goes over everything that we just said. This document is like the genesis of your business. You can see it's like a 1-pager. It's not a 1-pager, it's a 6-pager. It has all of what we just discussed in one file. So this is exactly what I needed. I had one prompt that was 6 lines, and now we have 6 pages, 5 pages. Mm-hmm. With this, what I did was, guys, first thing you do, buy a domain, get a website running so that Google starts to rank you, right? And then I started building a landing page just quickly here. So my landing page, I wanted to look like Fathom, the one that we just said. I said, build the exact same UI as Fathom. And then I gave it an image. And then I started to give it the document that we just mentioned here. And with this document, it was able to generate my first version.
Oh, you're using Figma here? Like the Figma AI?
Figma AI, yes.
Interesting. Can you show, so what does Figma AI does? Is it like a Vercel that would like V0 and create you like a full React app? Like how does that work?
What it does is it allows you to generate Figma designs.
Okay, from prompt.
From a prompt, you're able to open this in a Figma page. So let me just show. I have copied this and let me paste it here. My website is fully editable, right? Fully editable. Mm-hmm. This is what it looks like in the Figma app. It looks very, very nice. You're not able to click on any of that stuff. And this is importable in code. They have also a code version of it where you can take it out, right? You can do that. Or you can install the Figma MCP server where all you have to do is copy the link to this page. And if you give the ID to Claude, it will be able to access this code and start implementing.
And you probably need to give an API key or something, or is like a public ID that everybody can access?
You have to set it up. It takes a bit of time to set up. Sure. If we go to SearchRankAI, here is our final result. It looks pretty damn nice. For a 3-hour version, I of course added imaging to make things look a bit better, but we have this nice purpley look. All the pages have everything that I built in the document with all of that ready to go. And this is already indexed on Google, and in maybe a month or two, we're going to start to see some traffic. I also created a little blog where I will post stuff to keep Google entertained and get more traffic to the website. So this is SearchRankAI, and this was built initially under 3 hours. I put another day into it on the product side, which we can probably go into another day. The product is also working. If you want to test it out, do not hesitate. But the whole point here is you can go from idea to product in no time. Today, you don't need to think. You have a guy that's helping you think as well. It's like we're handicapped people, we have a guy that's going to question everything, every doubt that you had. You saw how stupid I was. Oh, we're going to do it all. We're just going to do it all. We're just going to. And the thing says, no, you're not. We know you're not. So here's again, like a great opportunity for everybody who wants to build something. All you have to do is get Claude. It's $17 per month, and start chatting with it about your idea and what you want to do. I think Claude is the best for this. I haven't seen an AI be so real with me. I have not seen that.
I mean, I've seen much more models that are able to be aggressive, but publicly available models right now, Anthropic is the only one.
It's very impressive. So, Emrick, are you going to be using this in your flows? Are you going to bring this out when you have ideas that you would like to share to an LLM? Are you less scared when you see this? Or is this
absolutely.
just a one-off example?
Me, I really love the fact that it's just pushing back on you. Like, I am craving for people pushing back on my ideas. And I need to push back on myself, and having like just a coworker with you available to push back and like question your ideas. And as you said, not questioning to put you down, but questioning to improve the idea and the offering. And this is actually a good lesson for all founders out here. Try to start with really something simple, because as engineers, specifically you and me, Remy, we always want to build everything, and just starting with like a simple offering is actually an amazing advice.
Well, yeah. So that was this week in Show and Tell. I expect from you, Emrick, a product. I told you, it's only 3 hours. I expect from you a YC-backed project by next week. Is that
It's coming. It's coming. Yeah. I actually applied.
And then we will do some Show and Tell again, I guess, in the future. But yeah, that is what we have for you guys this week. We went over 5.1. Good chat on that. Claude takes the win at the end with the real life example here of how it works. That is it for this week's episode, everybody. We will be back next week with some more news, hopefully, and an interview is in the pipes. Thanks everybody for listening. We will see you in the coming weeks. Bye, everybody.
Bye.